Alright y'all, welcome back to Steadfast Homestead. Today we actually have a very large project that we didn't want to have to be doing today, but unfortunately we had our stove go out over the weekend. Stove, oven, all of it, the whole thing crapped out. Alright y'all, so here is this cheapest of cheap, crappy old stoves that came with the house. As you can see, let's go turn that on there. Zero, nada, no heat, none at all coming out of there. So it's on. It's not on. Could try to fix it, but it's an electric stove. It came with the house. We really don't want electric. So we are actually going to be ripping the old electric stove out and putting our new, well, today we're just doing all the lines and everything to get set up for the new propane stove that should be here tomorrow. I've never done this before. So we are going to be installing the new lines and getting it all prepped and ready so that way when we get the stove tomorrow we can hook it all up and we get back to cooking, because living out of a crock pot and a McDonald's bag sucks. Definitely just ran my toe over. Ouch. Talk about kind of how we're doing this. So instead of using the steel piping like what I had to remove from the crawl space there, we're actually using what's called CSST, which is corrugated flexible gas tubing right there. But yeah, so this is what we're actually going to use for the line itself. See that? There's no fittings or anything on this tubing right now. So this is just the straight tubing. You can buy it with the fittings already on there, but you can only buy it in, like I said earlier, in 5-foot sections at most. This is not enough for what we need to do. I would have had to buy at least 2, probably 3 of them, and then you're $120 into this, and you're still 10 feet shorter than what we have here. So this is 25 feet. I think it was $75-ish, somewhere in there, Home Depot. Also, sidebar, if you're doing a project like this, go to Home Depot, not Lowe's. Lowe's will look at you like they have no idea what you're talking about. Like you might be from Mars if you're asking them to do weird things that are a little bit outside the norm. But Home Depot, they were very helpful, and they're like, yeah, you know, you could probably do that. Here's what we would do. Here's what we would use. So anyways, I digress. Back to this. So this is the tubing we're going to use. We got the old stove out. So now we're going to go inside. We're going to get the hole drilled and stuff this tubing down through. Then get it stubbed out the outside and get the tank side set up. All right, so here's where our stove was sitting. You can see the outlet for the old stove right there, the electric outlet. Water heater in the corner, because why wouldn't you have your water heater in the corner? Anyways, so now we got to figure out where we're going to stub our line through. Probably going to be down in here somewhere-ish. The floor joists run like this. So you can kind of see they got a screw right there holding that OSB down. So you can see where the floor joists are going that way. So we just got to avoid the floor joist and get a hole drilled down through there, and away we'll go. Having put a little bit more thought into it, I'm not going to come over here. I'm actually just going to drill through this OSB right here. I'm just going to go ahead and pick a spot right here. I hate when I have this problem. With the cover on, I cannot stuff the line through the hole. But with some wiggling and the cover off, I can get it through there. So what I think I'm going to do, because I have 25 feet of line, I think I'm going to go to the basement and I'm going to stuff it, or not the basement, the crawl space, I'm going to stuff it back up through the hole. And that way, I'll be able to go ahead and only have to get in here what I need, instead of having a ton of line that I have to try to feed through this stupid hole. Okay, so right now, while it's not super hot out, we're actually going to work on getting the line run outside. There was a propane tank here before. That's what that line is. I don't trust any of those lines. We're gonna go through and probably just rip this right off there. I'd like to reuse the hole going through there for the new line. So I'm gonna try to get that pipe out of the way and then just run the new line through there. So the plan is actually gonna be to put like a barbecue tank kind of in this area right here, and then just stub the line through the wall and in and up to our stove. It's only like 5 feet into the house. At some point, I'll go through and I'll rip this copper line out that runs here. Right now, I'm not necessarily worried about that. It's mainly just trying to get everything out of the way. If you don't have a pair of giant channel locks, you should. They're pretty fantastic, quite useful in a lot of situations. That actually came apart very easily. So now we just got this pipe here. Unfortunately, it's not just gonna push back into the house. So I'm gonna have to go in there and probably cut the pipe off behind the wall so I can at least get and use that hole. Because like I said, I don't want to have to drill another hole through my block. Rather, just use the one that's already there. All right, y'all, so here is our crawl space. Great looking, isn't it? So for those of you who don't know, I am terrified of snakes. Like, we'll run over a grandma and a baby on my way to get away from a snake. And if I was a snake, this is where I'd be hiding out at. So, you get to be extra careful trying to get in here. Because, yeah, really don't want to run into old Mr. Copperhead down here. There will be shots fired underneath the house, and I'll probably die of terror. But it'll be a good time. So, we are going to get in here and look for snakes, and then we're going to get that gas line out of the way and try running the new one. Y'all see that little toad? That little toad about made me piss myself. I crawled down in here, stuck my head in, started crawling, and that little bastard started bouncing away from me and scared the shit out of me. Hopefully, I can get to this without problems. Just gotta find the hole. I hate this. Alright. Okay. There it is. Okay. I actually managed to get it unthreaded from the T that it goes into. Pull this right out. Now, one thing that I didn't really think about, that I should have, thank goodness I was able to get it unthreaded, is there was still propane in that line. Even though that line has been open to the atmosphere for a while, the propane sat in there. So thank God I was able to get it unthreaded and didn't hit it with Sawzall, because, I mean, propane and sparks, probably not a good combination. So, you know, we won't tell the wife about this quite yet. Yeah, definitely could have had some rather dire consequences for our house. You know, fires, explosions, things of that nature. No big deal, we got past it. Well, after you set the camera up, it's also critical that you push record. So, you missed the first part of that, but that's alright. You can probably figure out what happened. I'm just gonna finish feeding this line through the block. There we go. I don't mind having a little bit extra in here, but I don't need 10 extra feet. Oh shoot. It fell out. Okay. So there is all the excess line. Alright y'all, so we are back here a couple days later. We had some technical difficulties. Yeah, I've done 12 hours of driving in the past 2 days. So we are finally back at it, and we're gonna get this gas line wrapped up, get our stove hooked up inside. Did end up having to go and get one of these fancy tubing cutters. I tried doing it with a Sawzall. You cannot cut it cleanly enough with the Sawzall, unfortunately, to be able to make this work. Luckily, these work really, really easy. So all you do is open it up. So you can put it in there. Now, This tubing we're working with is CSST, which is corrugated stainless steel tubing. If you can kind of see the corrugations, there we go. So you want to get it down inside one of the divots in the piping itself. So you tighten it down, but not super tight, just enough to where, you know, you have a good, it's firmly holding it. You're gonna go around it once, twice, tighten it down a little bit more. You don't want to pinch the tubing, you don't want to squeeze the tubing shut. You're just putting enough pressure on it to where this cut wheel will actually do the cutting for you. So again, go around a little bit more, go around, and you can kind of hear it when it gets there. Back the cut wheel off a little bit, and just like that, nice clean cut. So then you need to go through, and we're going to cut the this yellow protective cover off of it down here in a little bit to give us a couple of the corrugations revealed, so that way we can work with those. So that's real easy. You don't push real hard, just kind of enough to where you can score that rubber coating. I don't think it's actually rubber, but all the way around. Then I go through and slit it like that. We can get a hold of it, tear it off there, just like that. Now we're using these fittings here. They believe are pretty simple to work with. I've never done this before, but so you're gonna take this flare part of the fitting, slide it over. Then this washer right here that goes on, and you put it on the very first little section of the corrugated, like that. Then you need a pair of pliers. What you're going to do is you're going to take your pliers and you're going to clamp this washer down onto the corrugated piping. You want it to be fairly snugly on there. I don't think you want it to be able to turn, or at least not turn easily. So we got that there. Then you're going to go ahead and take this. It's got a gasket on there. This is the other part of that fitting. And you're going to put it on there. And you're going to cinch it all together. Now, there are torque specs for this. I don't have a torque wrench that's going to work on trying to do these. I believe it's called an HVAC torque wrench that you can do that with. But yeah, I don't have one. So, we're going to go to German specs. Guten Tag. Y'all, it is not hot here today, but it is super humid. We actually managed to get some rain yesterday and today, which has been very nice. Since we got here, we haven't got any rain you could actually measure, so quite nice to actually get some that you can measure. So now we got that cinched down nice. We got this fitting here. It's going to allow us to go from our 1/2-inch gas line down to our 3/8 line going to the tank. So we're going to put some pipe tape on there and get it installed. So we got it started on there. You want to keep some tension on this tape as you're going. It's going to hold it in place because it's not sticky tape. So you just want to keep tension on it. I believe you're supposed to do 3 wraps. So just break it off or cut it off. Kind of did that off camera, but you can see we got our fitting installed with our adapter. So this is just a regular regulator with a line. Any hardware stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, any of them. At some point I do want to upgrade this to a stainless steel braided line, but this is what they had at Home Depot when I was there, so it's going to work. So this one's real easy, just like attaching it to your grill. Cinch that on there, tighten it down. Then that right there, we'll get it installed onto our propane tank, and away we'll go. So you can see, pardon the mess, you can see that right now we have the corrugated line just laying on the ground. That'll work temporarily. I'm actually going to get conduit, and we'll bury it going through the ground, and then we'll run conduit up to the wall and into the block, just to keep it protected. You cannot, or you're not supposed to bury this corrugated line. You're supposed to get some conduit to run it in. Alright y'all, so life has gotten a little busy around here lately. So I kind of forgot to film the outro here. So we're gonna go around real quick, and I'm gonna show you the propane tank we ended up getting. Then we'll go inside and check out the stove real quick, and then I'm gonna sit down for the day because it's been a long day. Here is the propane tank we ended up getting. Got it at TSC, 40-pound tank. We were using the propane tank from a grill, which worked fine. You just burn through it a little faster. But this tank here, very nice, very heavy. It's gonna last us for quite a while. We are 2.5 weeks into that, and it's still extremely heavy. So that's going to be quite nice, being able to have that for a while. I'm probably gonna end up getting one more, two more, I don't know, something like that, just to have them on hand, because I'm weird that way and I like to have extra stuff just in case, because I don't want to run out of propane. So, all right, let's go inside and we will check out the stove. All right, so here is the stove. It's kind of a tight squeeze in here, but we'll get back there. And the gas line. It's real easy once we got the correct pieces to be able to put it all together. That's our union right there. That's the line that's gonna go, or it's not gonna go, it is going through the floor and out to the tank outside. All in all, it was a pretty straightforward deal once we figured out everything we had to have. Lots of trips to Lowe's and Home Depot to get the right parts, but once we had them, it wasn't too bad of a repair. Thanks for watching.